Good morning. Welcome to our celebration. Woo. It's wonderful to see you all, even if I can only see from the bridge of your nose to the top of your forehead. We are going to have a slightly different format today, but it's going to be meaningful and fun. I want to thank you all for masking up and helping to make our community's health a priority. At the end of our program, lunches and drinks will be at the back of the hall, so you can take them with you when you go. This is actually our 112th annual meeting. Can you believe that? It's a wonderful tradition, and it's a tradition we're going to celebrate today. To kick us off, it's my pleasure to introduce our wise and well-spoken board chair, Michael McIver.
Thank you for setting those expectations so reasonably, Cindy. As Cindy said, my name is Mike McIver, and I'm the board chair for the Chamber this year. And on behalf of the board, I want to welcome all of you to today's program. This is an exciting program for us because at its heart, our Chamber is a membership organization. And while we have been able to pivot over this last year and a half and offer programs using technology and in different ways than what we have in the past, there is still something special about getting to see so many of our members in one room at the same time and getting to see all of you interact with each other. So thank you all for being here. We have a few other thank yous. We'd like to thank our board members. If you're a board member for the Chamber, would you please stand up? Our board members volunteer their time. They attend our board meetings, they serve on committees, they help the staff put on our events, and we wouldn't be able to put on programs like today's without their help and support. Let's have a round of applause for our board members. Thank you. We'd also like to thank our Chamber staff. When we talk about how wonderful a Chamber we have, what we are really saying is we have a wonderful team in place to do events like this. And that starts with Cindy and on through the rest of the staff, Cammie, Melissa, Bob, our partners with Velocities, our ambassadors, our volunteers. They are the folks that make these kind of events possible. So let's have a round of applause for all of them. Again, I want to thank you all for being here today. I will treat you to a special sight, a lawyer that knows when to stop talking, and I'm going to turn things over to Brad Davis, Chief Credit Officer with Centra Credit Union. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 2021 annual meeting of the Columbus Area Chamber of Commerce. My name is Brad Davis, and I'm Chief Credit Officer of Centra Credit Union, as well as a proud past member and past chair of the Chamber Board. It is our privilege at Centra to once again be the title sponsor for the Chamber's annual meeting. I'd also like to thank each of you for being here today and for your support of our local Chamber, as well as a thanks to Cindy and her team for your continued partnership, as well as your support of and advocacy for local businesses. I think this is where I'm supposed to control something. There we go. Centra Credit Union, like many of the businesses represented in the room today, is a great Columbus-grown success story. We are 81 years strong, founded in 1940, having been formed to serve Cummins employees and their families. We transitioned to a community chartered credit union nearly 25 years ago, and meaning that any individual who lives in or works in or any business that is domiciled in our geographic trade area can be a Centra member. Our geographic trade area includes 2/3 of the state of Indiana and the northern portion of Kentucky, including Louisville. As many of you have heard me say before, Columbus is our world headquarters. You can laugh there. And Centra is the largest Columbus-based financial institution. This is part of the reason why we're so focused on serving our local businesses, because that's what we are. Our organizational vision is very clear and straightforward. We focus each day on creating value for our members, our team members, and the communities that we serve not the least of which is the Columbus and Bartholomew County community. From our humble beginnings, we have grown a member base that now exceeds 170,000, which we serve through many channels, including our 25 retail branch locations across the state of Indiana, as well as a few legacy branches in New York and North Carolina that are located inside of Cummins manufacturing facilities. Our members are served by a central workforce that now numbers nearly 400, including 250 here in Bartholomew County. We offer a full line of financial products and services to both consumers and individuals, including our lending, deposit, investment, and insurance channels, as well as offering appraisal management and title insurance services through our Centra Financial Services subsidiary. From a scope perspective, we're right at nearly $2 billion in total assets, making us one of the 5 largest credit unions in the state of Indiana. Those ringing phones don't bother me, by the way. We are also very proud of the increasing support that we provide to the communities in which we operate, including our home community right here, through both the credit union as well as our Centra Foundation. Just recently, during a company service training day, each Centra team member was given a $20 gift card to take out into their community, which they used to donate to many nonprofits, first responders, and other surprise individuals, which made for a lot of great stories. We also recently donated nearly $110,000 to 39 different nonprofit organizations across our footprint, including approximately $48,000 right here in Columbus. This process involved giving every Centra team member in our organization a voice in which non-for-profits would receive those funds. We are nearing kickoff of our Loretta Bird Scholarship Program, in which we award $70,000 each year to deserving students across our footprint, some of whom are attending IUPUC and Ivy Tech, or soon will. And these are 2 institutions of higher academic learning in our community that we also actively support in many ways. Finally, we just finished off another record United Way campaign in which we achieved greater than 50% team member participation. Again, 50%. Putting our campaign once again amongst the top 5 largest in the Columbus area. We also continue to actively invest in the Columbus community, as evidenced by our growing infrastructure. In August 2020, we took occupancy of our newly constructed corporate headquarters facility, pictured here on your left, located on Goldwater Boulevard, which currently houses 130 Centra team members. I chose to include this particular photo of our new building, primarily because I was a photographer and I just thought it was a cool picture. But that spectacular sunset was real. It was not photoshopped in, because I don't know how to do that. It's a beautiful facility, and I've become reasonably adept at giving tours of it. So if you're interested in taking a walk through, reach out to me. I'll be happy to do that. Earlier this year, we opened our newest Columbus branch at 501 Washington Street, right here in downtown. It's home to not only our retail branch, but also to our business services, our mortgage sales, and our Centra Financial Services group. So a lot of great things happening there and a lot of great people, so make sure you stop in and see them. I'd also, with these 2 facilities, we're excited and proud of having these facilities as part of our portfolio so that we can use them to better serve our growing member base. I'd also like to take this opportunity to quickly recognize the quality workmanship by and our partnership with Force Construction, who constructed our new headquarters facility, as well as Force Design, who assisted with our 501 Washington Street renovations. As we look into the future, we remain focused on those strategic investments in people, technologies, and facilities that will foster our continued growth, with the goal of further enhancing the experience of our members, our team members, as well as supporting our communities, all of which are direct tiebacks to our organizational vision. So again, on behalf of Centra, I would like to thank Cindy and her team at the Chamber for their ongoing work and partnership, and to each of you for your support of and collaboration with the Columbus Chamber. Thank you.
Thank you, Brad, and thank you to Centra Credit Union for their continued support. We really appreciate you. You know, this is a really special community, and that didn't happen by accident. One reason it is the way it is because so many business leaders like you took action long ago and continue to. As a Chamber member, you are part of a 131-year history of working together to propel our community forward. So we thought it would be fun and appropriate in this bicentennial year to celebrate and reflect on our history as an organization. And I'm so grateful to our friends at Bartholomew County Historical Society, especially Tammy Iorio and Diane Robbins, for helping us dig up some interesting vintage photos to share with you today. And we've asked 3 of our board members to take a couple of minutes of our program today to share that history. The first is the soon-to-retire from our board, 7-year veteran of the board, Scott Redelman with Toyota Material Handling. Leah Elliott will follow from Staffing GC, followed by Stephen Engelstad of Engelstad Wealth Advisors. Here they are to share some memories about our storied past. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. Good morning. Okay, if you've been paying attention, you know that Bartholomew County was founded in 1821. Later, in 1837, Columbus was incorporated as a town by a vote of just 34 citizens. In 1844, the railroad arrived, providing a valuable connector to ports on the Ohio River. With the establishment of this new trade route, the county's economy grew throughout the 1800s. Its first newspaper, The Republican, now known as The Republic, began publication in 1872, and our stately courthouse was completed in 1874. Reeves and Company became the largest employer and was our earliest manufacturer. Founders, Marshall and Milton Reeves, prolific inventors with 150 patents between them, manufactured corn plows, threshing machines, straw stackers, and steam engines for agricultural use. During this era, they are building wood split pulleys that are sold all over the world, powering manufacturing and agriculture. Moody's Tannery, located in what is now Millrace Park, is a major employer and nearly the largest tannery in the world. As manufacturing grows and population increases in 1890, the Businessmen's Committee is formed. Its members work to make Columbus more attractive for industry and for new residents. In 1908, this group took decisive action. With a name change and 100 charter members, the Columbus Commercial Club was born. The club's membership dues were $10 a year. The leadership team included bankers, manufacturers, land developers, jewelers, merchants, and the local mortician. Its mission: this organization is out for railroads and factories or anything else that will benefit Columbus. It's truly the first economic development organization in our county's history. Leah?
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to pick up in the year 1915, and it was in this year that the Commercial Club changed its name and became affiliated with the National Chamber of Commerce. The newly named Columbus Chamber was managed by Miss Elizabeth Turtle, who was known to many as Miss Chamber of Commerce. Her actual formal title was that of secretary, and she served in that role for 32 years. During this era of growth, the Columbus Chamber depended upon short-term employees to help it to expand. And one of those was none other than a young Harlan Sanders, who some of you may recognize as the Colonel. He actually sold chamber memberships here in town before he founded his world-famous fried chicken franchise. We fast forward up to 1919, and many of you know that's the year that Cummins was formed by chauffeur, mechanic, and inventor Clessie Cummins with the help of an investment from W.G. Irwin, who was the president of Irwin Bank at the time. In stark contrast to the global enterprise that so many of us think of today, the company actually did not turn a profit for its first 18 years. If any of you have any 18-ish-year-old children at home, you can appreciate how long that must have felt and the spirit and dedication that would have taken. If we fast forward to 1942, the U.S. Army had ordered 5,000 diesel engines from Cummins. It was during World War II that most of the company's output went to the war effort, like so many other organizations across the country. And it was this time period that set Cummins on its path for very rapid growth. That same year, the Chamber was also part of and supportive of the war effort. With the construction of the Camp Atterbury Training Center, the Chamber hired extra staff to set up a housing office for the thousands of construction workers and families of the soldiers that were pouring into the area during this time period. The USO, as a little piece of trivia, was actually located within the Columbus Chamber offices, which at the time was on the second floor of the old City Hall building on the corner of 5th Street and Franklin, just right around the corner here. From 1943 to 1945, the Chamber was starting to make big plans for the post-war era. There were chamber committees formed and focused on developing and preparing the community for the inevitable changes that were sure to follow. A 15-point plan was developed and included the establishment of a planning commission to develop master plans, zoning ordinances, and building codes, the annexation of East Columbus, a new city water supply and sewage disposal plant, 2 new bridges over area rivers, new railroad station, streetlights, fire alarms, a new city hall, and a better system of garbage and trash collection was developed or proposed in the plan, and even included community recreational plans. So an outdoor swimming pool, which we now know as Donner Pool, a new gymnasium, a hotel, a civic center, and a new home for Foundation for Youth were all part of the Chamber's 15-point plan. By the end of 1948, which is less than 6 years later, more than 35 projects had been completed from the plan at that point or were well underway and under construction. And with that, I'll turn it over to Stephen to carry us forward.
Thank you, Leah. With the war now over, the 1950s and 1960s were a time of rapid economic expansion. The construction of new, well-designed schools, with the assistance of Cummins and the Cummins Foundation, began in 1954. It was the beginning of the Cummins Architecture Program. In 1972, the Chamber moved into its present quarters in the former Republic Building at the corner of 5th and Franklin. The Chamber chartered the Chamber Foundation, its 501c3 arm, in 1973. During the 1970s, the Chamber Foundation helped spearhead the IUPUC Center and the opening of the Visitor Center in the old Story House at 5th and Franklin. The foundation provided a mechanism to launch the Columbus Economic Development Board in 1976 as a pilot program to market the community to domestic and global businesses seeking to add or expand operations in the Midwest. Although it's always had its own staff, board, and budget, it operated under the Chamber Foundation's umbrella until 2015. In the first 25 years, the Economic Development Board secured new investment of $320 million and more than 3,000 jobs. In the 1980s, the Chamber's focus evolved yet again. The first Edna Folger Teaching Excellence Award was given in 1982 with the support of Arvin Industries, a Fortune 500 company whose headquarters was in Columbus from 1925 until 2011 when it merged with Meritor of Detroit, Michigan. By the 1990s, the Chamber turned its attention to economic development, community leadership development, and improving the community's educational system. It formed a unique partnership with the Covey Leadership Center to become the first principal-centered leadership community, gaining national media attention. The city gained more attention when it won the All-America City Award in 1990. In 1997, the Community Education Coalition was formed, dedicating resources to a systems approach to educational improvement and economic opportunity for all residents. Ultimately, the CEC established its own funding, staff, and leadership team. Its work is nationally recognized. By the 2000s, the Chamber established itself as a one-stop shop for small business development and support, merging with the Columbus Enterprise Development Corporation, partnering with the Indiana Small Business Development Corporation and SCORE to provide services to newly forming and existing small businesses. The Chamber received honors for both State and National Chamber of the Year in 2008. It also kicked off the Maverick Challenge High School Pitch Competition, which has given thousands of high school students their first glimpse into the world of entrepreneurship.
Thank you, Scott, Stephen, and Leah. As you can see, the Chamber and its members have helped set the direction for community and economic development for decades. Let's look at some ways Chamber members are continuing that great legacy and some of the plans for the years to come. So we're going to talk about some things that happened right here in 2021. Thanks.
Good morning. I noticed Cindy didn't call me wise like she called Mike wise, but we'll go on. So I'm John Sattler with SCIO, and I'm pleased to be here. The Edna Folger Outstanding Teacher Award is sponsored annually by SCIO, the IUPUC Center for Teaching and Learning, the Community Education Coalition, and the Columbus Area Chamber of Commerce. The Edna V. Folger Outstanding Teacher Award is designed to recognize the impact teachers have both in and outside of the classroom. This award is named for local teaching icon Edna V. Folger, who invested more than 46 years of her life educating students in Bartholomew County. The Folger Award celebrates dedication to the teaching profession, ability to motivate students and/or staff to reach their full potential, innovation in teaching style and curriculum, the ability to form strong bond and relationships with students, parents, peers, and contributions to the community outside of the classroom. Earlier this year, we announced the 2021 Edna Folger Outstanding Teacher Award is Peggy Myers of Columbus East High School. Like all previous Folger winners, Peggy goes above and beyond in all dimensions. Both in and outside of the classroom, she is committed to be an advocate for her students, ensuring that they have every learning and life opportunity possible. Peggy designs individual plans for each of her students to help them reach their fullest potential. Along with her staff, Peggy patiently leads her students toward their learning goals, teaching social and job skills along the way. She is the glue that holds this complex set of plans and people together. Peggy's innovative and creative approaches teach valuable life skills that enhance independence to help her students achieve personal happiness and success. The Coffee Cart at Columbus East offers opportunities for students to develop social skills by taking orders, preparing and delivering beverages, and accepting payments. Several years ago, Peggy introduced Best Buddies. This program involves more than 50 students and creates integrated employment and leadership development opportunities along with one-on-one friendships for individuals in with developmental disabilities. Peggy is the coach for the IHSAA Unified Track Teams. The team involves over 60 students and has earned national recognition, receiving the Unified Champion School National Award. Peggy is active with the ARC of Bartholomew County and has served as president, vice president, and secretary. She freely shares her professional knowledge, expertise, and passion, and skills with colleagues by presenting at state and national conferences. Many Folger recipients over the years are nominated by colleagues, building administrators, and sometimes parents. But Peggy was nominated by a former student. This young woman was so inspired through her interaction with Peggy that she is now majoring in special education in college. Peggy is with us today. I'll ask her to stand and be recognized. Will you please join me in congratulating Peggy Myers, recipient of the 2021 Edna Folger Outstanding Teacher Award.
All right. Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Trey Nebergall. I was the Maverick Challenge winner last year for Bartholomew County, and my business is called Aspire Group. So we are a full-service real estate media company. So we provide professional photography, video, drone, 3D tours, virtual staging to real estate agents here in town, and we also work with local businesses. So I wanted to just talk about my experience competing in the Maverick Challenge. So I first competed at the local level, winning the local level, and then moving on to the regionals and placing second. So I also wanted to mention I was recognized at the BCSC School Board for the Maverick Challenge, and then also from participating in the Maverick Challenge, I was actually able to become a member of the Chamber of Commerce here as part of the prize, I guess. And I was also able to move on from that to pitch my business at the Velocities, where I actually met a professor for the Kelley School of Business. And another experience that I had was moving on from the Maverick Challenge to the Innovate Within pitch competition. So that's a state level competition. I was a state finalist in that competition. It was a pretty cool trip. We got to be with a whole bunch of high school entrepreneurs. There's about 10 of us. We got to go on a pretty cool trip to Scottsdale, Arizona, and meet some interesting entrepreneurs out there. So that was a pretty cool experience. And then also, I was able to attend the Startup Saturday last Saturday at the Columbus Airport at the new Propeller facility. So that was a pretty cool experience, getting to meet other entrepreneurs here in town looking to kind of start something similar to what I have. So I just wanted to say thank you to the Columbus Chamber for providing me opportunities to learn and grow here in Columbus. And yeah, thank you guys.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Nick Sprague with Sprague Hotel Developers and a Chamber board member. As someone who's seen firsthand the effects, damage that COVID-19 has done to businesses, especially those in the hospitality sector, I appreciate that there was a grassroots group of community volunteers who wanted to put their energy and talents towards boosting the local economy. The Think Local team, which is supported by the Chamber, formed in 2020 in response to many local businesses being hurt during the pandemic. Many retailers, big and small, experienced the detrimental effects of the shutdown and the spike in online shopping. Restaurants found delivery services like DoorDash cutting into their revenues. Meanwhile, hotels experienced an immediate drop in leisure and business travel, which have been slow to recover. So the 15 or so dedicated volunteers set these goals. 1, to remind consumers to think locally and shop locally for the goods and services. To market on Facebook and Instagram with special features like Showcase Saturdays. To promote Think Local by amassing social media followers at events like Pride Fest, Flying Fords, the Mill Race Marathon, and Downtown Wine Walk. And to help businesses operate more successfully through trainings and connection to free resources. Together, they have developed a strong social media presence with more than 1,000 followers on both Facebook and Instagram, as well as a LinkedIn presence created the website thinklocalcolumbus.com. The effort is very much in the spirit of what a chamber is supposed to do. It's about members helping members. And while we're thinking about supporting each other, I would be remiss if I didn't remind you that Shop Small Saturday takes place on Saturday, November 27th. The Chamber is the local Shop Small champion again this year. So please, as you consider your holiday shopping for your household or for your business, please remember to think local and shop small.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Johnny Edwards, president of the NAACP Columbus Bartholomew County branch. As many of you may know, the NAACP is the nation's oldest and largest, most widely recognized grassroots-based civil rights organization. Some of you might not know, but NAACP was started in 1909 by an interracial group of activists. I'm here today to talk to you about the TIME program, Targeted Investment for Minority Entrepreneurs. This program provides coaching, training, and gap funding for minority entrepreneurs in our community in order to strengthen their businesses and help owners access financial resources they need to grow their businesses. In a moment, you will hear from some of the business owners that were impacted in the first stage of this new program. I'm proud to have served with a great group of people that include Lori Thompson, Tom Harmon, Cindy Fry, and our very capable and wise consultant, Toby Heron. The Columbus Chamber Foundation served as our fiscal agent for this program and provided a deep membership discount for all the TIME participant who chooses to join the Chamber membership. We appreciate Cami Adams from the Chamber, who played a pivotal role in managing our funds for this program. I want to voice my gratitude for the local SCORE chapter. The SCORE volunteers spent countless of hours in coaching and mentoring of our participants for this program. Additionally, we appreciate the work that has been supported by Cummins, First Financial Bank, Heritage Fund, the African American Fund of Bartholomew County, Central Credit Union, Taylor Brothers Construction, and Old National Bank. So far, we've been able to help support 19 Black-owned businesses here in Bartholomew County, and we're just getting started. We're already in conversation with SUCASA about expanding this program, and we look forward to working with many other minority groups to help them grow as well. I'm a firm believer when I say that many hands make light work. So if you choose to help out in this program and this community, the NAACP is always looking for more volunteers. It is my pleasure to introduce the TIME video. Things that we found out by interviewing the Black-owned businesses, that they didn't have the advantages that most people assumed that they had. They didn't have access to financial wealth. They didn't get those sit-down meetings with financial institutions that allowed for them to get the business loans to be sustainable long-term.
The TIME program stands for Targeted Investment in Minority Entrepreneurs. So through this program, we sought to engage businesses, make an impact, and create opportunity for the long term. We spent much of the spring educating our community and our business owners about the federal stimulus program. And what we've learned here locally is that while more than half of Black business owners across the country applied for PPP, in Columbus, less than 20% did. There's a huge disparity. And with the EIDL loan, the disparity is much greater.
What I want people to understand is what the TIME program has done for Afro-Americans, for me, for my niece, for my son, is we can walk inside of a bank and feel as though we're going to get treated just like anybody else. They've given me the freedom to feel like I'm confident enough and I have enough going on in my business, enough credibility that I can walk in buildings like that. That's what they've really done for me.
Since I've worked with the TIME program, we've seen a lot of changes in our business. We were able to bring some of our plans to fruition. We were able to move to our new location, expand our business, and we have a lot of things in store that I believe was facilitated in whole or in part by our participation in the TIME program.
Through this program, we're hearing great success stories. We're hearing awesome things from these businesses, and we found out it was more than just about money. It was about someone believing in them, about having a personal relationship relationship, helping them get to that next level.
If you have a side business that you would like to grow into a full-time operation, there's help to get you there. Or if you have a small business and you'd like to make it bigger, there are resources here that could help you achieve that dream.
I'm a believer in we have to put our money where our mouth is. It's easy to say you want to help, but if you truly want to help, you have to step up and get engaged.
We can always use more resources for the TIME program. If a business would like to invest in the pool of resources, or if they'd like to share their expertise, those things would be welcomed.
It was a very lovely video. Thank you for sharing that. Good morning, everybody. My name is Dan Nash. I am the new Startup Ecosystem Manager with Velocities, which some of you may know, and I'm seeing many new faces for the first time today, so thank you all for the warm welcome. So for those of you who are not aware, Velocities is essentially a partnership between Elevate Ventures, which is the venture capital arm of the state, the Dimension Mill over in Bloomington, and the Chamber of Commerce here. And really what Velocities is here to do is to help promote startups and entrepreneurship in the region. So we do that by putting on programming like events, the Startup Saturday that was just shared, doing things like meeting with companies, even if they just have an idea on a napkin or they have employees in a product, and helping to match them with resources, with investors, coaching, different things like this. So since the Velocities partnership has been going for about 2.5 years now, we've had companies raise about $1.5 million, but as of yesterday, we just had a regional company raise another 1.5, so I think we can double that number. Yeah, why startups and entrepreneurship? So I'll share a little bit about myself. I grew up in a very small village in Michigan, Saranac, if any of you are familiar. I went on to study mathematics at university, and because of wintertime, I decided to move and go out to Hawaii. So I moved out to Hawaii. I was teaching high school mathematics there for a few years, and then ended up starting an educational consulting and software company there. So during that time, kind of became an accidental entrepreneur. Ended up getting some investment from Intel, so my co-founder and employees and us, we all up and moved the company to San Francisco. And during that 6 or 7 year periods of learning how to do things like file for intellectual property, hire people, do payroll, HR, pitch for investment, what I found in the journey of being an entrepreneur was you don't just learn a bunch of hard skills, that can be put into action in many other industries, but it really creates an opportunity to grow internally. So one of the reasons that I've come back to work in this region is because I feel like entrepreneurships and startups don't just offer an opportunity to teach necessary skills which can be transferred into any other industry, but it creates an opportunity for the entrepreneurs, for co-founders to actually grow internally and turn into fully actualized adult human beings, which is kind of the dream, I guess. So outside of that, one of the other aspects, look at some notes out here, because I'm not an economist, research shows that startups and encouraging entrepreneurships in your local region helps with job creation. Startup companies tend to hire 3 times the amount of employees that non-startup companies do. They also are kind of the local economy's innovation center. If there's a problem, who better to solve it than somebody from the actual region and to reinvest those dollars back into? The other thing is, as I shared for me personally, you're teaching entrepreneurship. There's no better way to learn entrepreneurship than to do something like start a company and actually just figure things out along the way with support of organizations like the Chamber. And last but not least, entrepreneurship creates an opportunity for upward mobility, not just for the entrepreneurs, but for the community and the investors that were involved in that as well. So, I am currently in Bloomington, commuting here right now. I luckily just signed a lease about 1.5 weeks ago, so thank you, Nick, wherever you are. So once I get moved in and settled, I'm gonna be working out of the Columbus Chamber of Commerce. So if you have any questions at all about startups, entrepreneurship, you have a startup company, you're thinking of starting one, come find me. Happy to have a chat, grab a coffee, and see how we can support. So thank you.
All right. Well, Velocities is Propeller's first investor, pledging $65,000 to launch the center. The Heritage Fund then came in with another generous grant. Thanks to the support of the Airport TIF and the Columbus Redevelopment Commission, we will be tearing out and pouring concrete at the end of this month and making other physical improvements to the site and structure before the equipment goes in. The Propeller Innovation Center will have a dual purpose to foster innovation and entrepreneurship. It will be outfitted with tools, both high-tech and low-tech, 3D printers for prototyping, as well as robotics and electronics labs. It will be a place open to all, college students, tinkerers, entrepreneurs, and even artists. Our goal is to open with a full schedule of programming and offer memberships in the first quarter of next year. You see the board of directors on the slide behind me, representatives from our education system, private sector, and entrepreneurial ecosystem. It is an awesome team. If you'd like to be involved to teach a skill, lead a class, or simply be a member, I'd ask that you go to columbuspropeller.com and fill out the form to be added to the mailing list, or talk to any of the folks that you see pictured up here. Thank you.
So continuing our theme of the future, what does the future have in store for our community? I have to quote a quote that John Burnett from the Education Coalition often quotes, and it's a J. Irwin Miller quote that says, "A good life is one led in praiseworthy competition with one's ancestors. The best response to the gifts we receive from previous generations is to create something of lasting value in our own time and in our own way for future generations." So that's what we're trying to do now. The Regional Economic Acceleration and Development Initiative, that acronym you might have heard is READY, is a highly competitive grant that will set up our region to do just this, be in praiseworthy competition with our ancestors. We're working to secure a very competitive grant in competition with 17 other communities, and the pool of funds is somewhat limited, as you might imagine. Alongside our great partners in Jennings and Jackson County, Jason Hester from the EDC, Mayor Linnep from the city, John Burnett from the Community Education Coalition, and I have been working diligently for months, gathering stakeholder feedback, creating an exciting vision for our region's future. And if we're successful, the request for the $50 million will leverage another $330 million in public and private investment. The money will be spent in the areas of innovation and entrepreneurship, education and workforce development, housing and talent attraction, and quality of place. I hope you'll all take advantage of an opportunity to learn more about this proposal. It's about 180 pages long, and you can read it for yourself at southcentraltalent.com. That's what we've called ourselves, because we're really trying to create game-changing scenarios, not just for our county, but our neighbors. We've created a fantastic video to go with our pitch, and we'll give our pitch on December 3rd in Indianapolis. The end of the video ends with something that's just really promising and hopeful. It says, we've seen what is on the horizon, and we want to go there together. So in the spirit of collaboration, stay tuned as we seek to secure the funding to do some really revolutionary things in our community to build on the strengths that already exist thanks to our forefathers, right? So we have one thing we want to do with you today before we wrap up. And we've really saved the best for last. We've really been missing being with all of you at some of our larger meetings. So we're going to ask you to participate in something, to get out of your chairs in a minute. But first I need to do a little bit of housekeeping. I just have to say thank you to Center Credit Union, once again, our gold sponsor. And a thank you to Columbus Regional Health for underwriting the videotape production of this event so that we can share it more broadly with folks who weren't allowed to be in the room because of capacity limitations. And just a reminder, your lunch is going to be there waiting for you when you finish this really fun participatory experience. Okay, so we don't want you to leave here without meeting someone new. We know that we haven't been able to have as many networking events as we would like to, and we think it's really core to our work to connect people with new customers and new suppliers. And we know that people like to do business with those they know, like, and trust. So we're going to give you an opportunity to meet someone new today. We're going to end this session with one of our very popular speed networking rounds. So if you've been to speed networking, you know it's a little bit like speed dating, only you're seeking a new professional connection, not a romantic one. So where is Bob Schaffstall? I can't see him. Bob is at the back of the room, and in just a moment, he's going to sound his very loud red plastic horn. And what you're invited to do, one person at each table can remain, but the rest of you have to go find a table with a majority of folks that you've never met before. Okay, the goal is to pick up some new connections here today, to meet some new people, and this is a test of your networking abilities. So when you get to that table, we'll have some instructions. Introduce who you are, let everyone take a turn, tell what you do, and then share a fun fact or a little trivia about yourself so that the relationship can go a little deeper. You can find out if somebody's a Reds fan or loves hockey. Okay, so are you ready, Bob? Bob's gonna sound the horn once, and then he's gonna sound it again at the end of the session, and that's your cue to go grab your lunch.